All right, so the next one was on my most anticipated releases of the year. All right, hello, my fellow readers. Today I'm going to be doing my bottom five reads and then showing you my top five reads. Now, I have read 110 books. I know, it's crazy, but that's just kind of the way that it's worked out right now. My reading is starting to slow down though. So I feel like these were kind of harder to choose, but I feel like my bottom five, these are the bottom five, okay? Like I did not like these books, was not a fan of them. Some of them, if you've watched some of my wrap-ups on TikTok or anything like that, you probably see these coming. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's get into it because, I could drone on, but I'm sure y'all just want to know my bottom five. So the first one is Bad Asians by Lillian Lee. The thing is, like, in theory, this book is great. In reality, it was not. I feel like if we focused on the parents, would have been amazing. Like the parental expectations and all of that, like that I was interested in. But the pacing was off. It was boring. I don't really think I gained anything of it from start to finish. I also don't think that the characters like changed that much. I didn't like any of the characters, and sometimes that's okay. You'll see another book in my top five that, yeah, the main character is unlikable, but the story then has to sell it, and the story did not sell me on this. In fact, I would rather have not read this. I would have not rather not read this. I Yeah, I was bored. I was bored. And I remember reading this on my birthday, and in my head I'm thinking, like, why am I reading this? Like, this is so bad. Like, I didn't vibe with it. I'm not going to lie. The plot just was not there for me. All right, the second on this list, I mean, I don't know, but like, they're not really in order, but the second on the worst list is We Are the Brennans. Um, there's a reason I didn't want to read this book, and I stand by that decision. This book was too many characters, too many perspectives. The plot just was not there. Like, I didn't really understand, like, to me, I didn't gain anything from it. I think similar to Bad Asians, I didn't gain anything from start to finish. And I also was just irritated the entire time because I was reading way too many stories and like way too many characters. Like I was in their mind and I just didn't feel connected to any singular one because there were so many that we were reading. And I think also like there was like a weird like romance subplot that I didn't really like because there was like somewhat of cheating involved adjacent. The family, I would have rather known a little more about the family dynamic because I feel like that got lost while we're like dealing with like money loans and like a crumbling bar. Like I just didn't hit for me. Like this was going to be a no for me. No. Okay. The next one is Royal Spin. Okay. Let me breathe when I say this. I had high expectations for this. What I got was nothing. Like, I didn't get what I needed from it. I think, like, on the surface, this looks like a polyamorous story or somewhat of a love triangle story. It was kind of neither. Like, to be honest with you, like, it didn't really feel like she wanted to be in a relationship with kind of either of them. Like, she did, but it didn't really, like, sell me on that. Like, we didn't spend enough time with each individual character, like the male characters, to really know how she felt. I mean, this is like a thinner book, but quite frankly, like, it just, I didn't feel connected to either of the main love interests. So then when she, like, chose at the end, I was like, okay. But also, I just, no. To be honest with you, I don't have a lot of high thoughts to say on it because the ending just made me irritated. I don't like how she chose. I don't like who she chose. Quite frankly, again, I didn't feel connected to either one of them, but I had sympathy for one of them, and the other one I just found annoying. Her, I was like, what are you doing, girl? Like, what are we doing? Um, how many times can I say and not move on from a book? I just have nothing else to say about this. I'm so sad. This is on my bottom 5 list. I'm so sad about it because I had high expectations going into it, but it just didn't give me anything. It wasn't doing anything for me. And that is The Ending Writes Itself by Evelyn Clark. Now, I've heard mostly not positive reviews about this. I mean, obviously, this is V.E. Schwab and Kat Clark's collaboration. I just honestly went into this thinking it was like a murder mystery. It was not really that. I kind of wanted it to be like a Knives Out. It wasn't. There were just like people dying throughout the whole thing. And like, the twist was like, fine. Like, it didn't scare me. It was more literary fiction, like like a literary fiction about the publishing industry than it was like a mystery or like a thriller. Like, it was neither of those things. In fact, a thriller is supposed to keep me going, and this bored me. Like, and it sucks because I had such high expectations about this book, but this is going to be a no for me. It's going to be a no for me. I don't have much else to say about it because there was no mystery. Like, it says on the back, like, Stephen King blurbed it. It says best mystery of 2026. There was no mystery in this. Like, quite honestly, did not feel like there was a mystery in this. So maybe I read this wrong. Like, I was just kind of bored. And then the last one, again, kind of similar to the last one, I had high expectations. This was on one of my most anticipated releases of the year, and it just did not do much for me. And that is Westward Women. I think, in theory, again, I keep saying that, but in theory, like, a conversation about women not being treated well, like, not having any, like, there was a disease kind of spreading where these women all went west, and then they all didn't come back because they all died. I think in so many ways that is a conversation about, like, women's health, and especially in this country, but all over the world. Women's health is very much underfunded. We don't have the research, and that felt like that part of this book was like interesting. Like, that I could see the connection. In terms of anything else, in terms of the actual writing of this, it was, I wouldn't even say boring. I would say there was a pacing issue. And that I just was expecting more to happen throughout the story, and then we just never got there. But then when there were things, I'm like, okay, this is not exciting or like at all entertaining. And that's kind of that's the thoughts I came out of this book with. Wasn't very entertaining. Yes, it is a conversation about women's health research, but past that, didn't do anything for me. All right, now for my top 5. These are actually in no particular order, to be honest with you, because I can't choose. Okay, so the first one in this category is Disappoint Me. I still think of this book. I still think about this book. I resonate with it. I understand it. I understand every single decision this character makes. I loved it. I also love a trans story. I also think too, like, the way that this differs from her first book, Bellies, is that this really is not about her becoming trans. Like, she's already transitioned when we're reading this, and the plot doesn't really center around her being trans. And I appreciate that because I think that's really important in trans stories. But I still think of this to this day. This book has a chokehold on me. I loved Max. I mean, Vincent was. I think you're supposed to love and hate him, and I think that's kind of how I felt about it. I think the whole time you're kind of like you're living with Vincent from the past. Like, you're in his mind from the past. And like from what he's experiencing in his, like, at the time in the past. Yeah. Whereas Max, we're experiencing the relationship as we're going through it. And so we see how Vincent's past informs his relationship with Max now. And I really appreciate that because I think you get kind of, I don't necessarily love dual timelines, but I think it really works in this book. And I absolutely love it. Still think about this book to this day. Still think about the ending because I resonate with the decision she made. 100%. Yeah, I get it because I have been in a situation where I've had to make decisions about a relationship based on my health and kind of how they choose to show up in those moments. And so I understand it and feel it on, like, I feel this book in my soul, guys. All right, so the next one was on my most anticipated releases of the year, and that is Yesteryear. Wow, what a conversation about tradwives. What a conversation about Christianity in America. What a conversation about influencers and children of influencers. Like, what a conversation. This is a. You hate Natalie. Like, I'm sorry, but she is the most obnoxious. Like, the way she thinks is just. She's unreliable as a narrator, but also, like, you just hate her. Like, you just hate her because you're just like, could you, like, you also at the same time, and I don't know if anyone else had this reaction to this book, I also wanted to, like, reach through the book and, like, grab her and kind of shake her a little bit because I'm like, this is insane. But you also, I can understand, like, I can also understand, like, how someone that grew up in evangelical culture can kind of view their religion and how they become obsessed with their religion and obsessed with, like, the Bible and, like, living by the Bible. And I think that's what this conversation is really about. Obviously, it's about influencers. It's about children of influencers. To me, the ending, I think, hit, like, nail on the coffin, you know? Like, I know some people don't like the ending, but to me, this ending really sold it to me. I loved it. I was definitely something I did not see coming at all, but I genuinely, it was the perfect ending for this book, in my opinion. Perfect ending. Loved it. No notes. We're blowing through the top 5 because I feel like I've talked about some of these books ad nauseum. But y'all, you could go back and watch the entire review. I read this in a video where I read, like, the most anticipated, like, book on my TBR versus, like, my least kind of the book I wanted to read the least, basically. And that book, the other book was Meet the Brennans. So you can definitely see how were they ranked in this list. But yes, 100%. All right, next is The Bright Years. I think for me, going into this book, coming from a child of an addict, I went into it a little bit hesitant. I think I'm at a place in my life where I don't mind reading about children of addicts, or anything in that nature. I will say being in his perspective made me a little bit insane, but I will say, like, you can see how addiction is a generational thing, and I appreciate that so much, and I appreciate that conversation. I Yeah, I mean, but also just, like, what we choose to hide from those that we love, and also how that impacts relationships later down the line. That's amazing. And I just can't say much more about this because honestly, you just need to read it. I love this book. I'm also so excited for the Burning Side because that's coming out very soon, and I'm so excited. But this, like, it is short, but it packs a punch. I think especially those of you who have, like, family, like, generational trauma, this is a really good read. Whether you have addiction in your family or not, this is just an amazing read in that space. So I highly, highly encourage you to read this. All right, next is Meet the Newmans. I have talked about this in a video about adaptations, so you know my thoughts on it. This was so good. Like, this was, if you like Daisy Jones and the Six, you are gonna like this. I just have a feeling. I feel like nobody has done reviews on this book, by the way. Like, I don't know, like, nobody has read this book. Like, came out, like, January, February, and, like, nobody's reviewed this book. Like, I've seen nobody else read it. I've seen it on a bunch of people's TBRs, but nobody's read it. I loved it. Like, this book is about a family who is on television in the 50s, and they there's an accident in the family, and then all of a sudden after that, secrets start to unravel. And just seeing how each of the family members have handled the fame and also the secrets that they're holding as well to protect themselves is amazing. And also, I think it's just such a piece on Hollywood, especially Hollywood in the 50s and families in Hollywood. There's also a specific character that I ate his story up. Like I loved it, and you just root for him the entire time. I mean, you root for everyone. I root for the mom. I rooted for both the boys, but honestly, I rooted for one of the characters more than the others. Like I had to, just based on me. If you've read this book and have watched me for a little bit of time, leave me in the comments who you think that is. But honestly, loved it. Like I absolutely incredible, 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 incredible. Would read again. Cannot wait to reread this. And lastly, this is going to come as no shock to anyone if you've followed me on my TikTok or YouTube page for a little bit of time, and that is Blue Sisters by Coco Malores. This book is about three sisters grieving the loss of one of their sisters. And each of them, you see them in each different parts of their lives and how addiction plays a part and how love is playing a part and also how their sister's death impacts each of them. I think for me, the reason this book spoke to me so much, I mean, you find this out in the very beginning, but one of the characters has endometriosis. And to me, it's such an indictment of the healthcare industry. It's such a conversation about what it means to live in chronic pain and what lengths you will go to make it stop. So for me, that is the minute I read that, I was sold on this book and I knew it was going to be 5 stars. This is just in my top 5, guys. Like, I know people are very mixed on it. I feel like some people are like, oh, it's an average book and it didn't meet my expectations, and other people are like me who really love this book. I just also, like, anytime I can talk about, like, a messy family dynamic where there's addiction and, like, all that, I'm gonna sink my claws into it. Like, I needed this at the time I was reading, and I think I still do. Like, I want to do a reread of this so bad, but I don't think it's going to be right now. I think it's going to be probably next year, sometime early next year. I don't know if Coco Malores has endometriosis herself or what, but she depicted that in a way that I've never seen anyone depict it. I've also never seen anyone talk about the pain and, like, what it's like to be in chronic pain and the lengths you will go to get rid of pain. Like, never had anyone talk about that, and I resonated with that, but I also resonated with each of the girls. I mean, I resonate with the oldest one the most, I think, but I resonate with all of them. I think they're all complicated, they're all flawed in their own ways, not one of them is perfect, and I think that's exactly what I need in a book these days. I don't want perfection, I want messy, and I want people trying to figure it out and, like, dealing with very hard things that they don't know how to process. Like, that's all I can say, guys. That's all I can say about those books. Because, like, I honestly, like, there's a reason those were in my top 5. And there's a reason the books in the bottom 5 were in the bottom 5. But yeah, I would love to know your top and bottom 5. Or at least the top book you've read and the kind of lowest ranked book on your list. And with that being said, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Bye!